Hey there, and welcome to my channel, and welcome back if you've been here before. I am a certified leadership and life coach as well as HR expert. I make videos here about conscious leadership, motherhood, women empowerment, and all things elevating your reality. So if you like videos like this, please subscribe, like, share, comment below, and all the things to support me so I can continue to show up and spread the love. Today, we're going to talk about a very interesting topic, particularly in today's climate with all that's going on in the world. This has been a topic of discussion that I have had with many people over the past several years. And I think a lot of people, particularly women who have hit their late 20s, 30s, even 40s in this midlife era may feel this. So we're going to discuss what it's like to have no vision or direction in life. And I want to offer some advice to women who might be experiencing this and what we can do to course correct and get on track and get back in the driver's seat of our life and feel good about where we are and where we're headed. So most of us usually develop a vision for our lives very young, where we see where we are supposed to be. And, by the time we're 20 or 21, we should be doing this. And when we're 25, we should be doing that. And when we're 30, we should be doing this or that. So on and so forth. I'm sure you know the drill because we've all been there and done that. And then we grow up and we realize that things aren't always what we thought they would be. Because the reality is the vision for our lives may and often changes as we get older. Life happens and we learn that not everything turns out as we plan. Then there are some people who never plan. And life just happens to them. They coast, they flow with no plan at all. Sometimes things work out favorably for people who do that. But more times than not, things turn out unfulfilling with more to be desired when there's no plan at all. Plan or not, life can be uncertain and life can throw curveballs and dish out all sorts of things that were not factored into our plans. I know firsthand, even when we give things our best, we can end up feeling uncertain, lost, defeated, with no direction and no vision, even with a plan, or when we're doing our best to show up and live our lives. One thing for certain, in life, there will be change. Change that we create and change that we have no control over. So we have to focus on what we can control and what we can't. And the things that we can't control, we can maneuver, we can navigate, we can do our best to work around that. But we should be focusing on the things that we can control. We all will have various transitions in our lives. And it's up to us to determine how we feel and what we do during those transitional phases. There are various aspects of our lives that are like foundational areas that many women feel the lack of vision or direction in. And these areas include jobs and career, family, friends, children, and relationships or marriage. Of course, there's others, finances, and all those things that I think fall into several of these categories. But today I'm going to explain, why not having a vision or direction, or if things aren't turning out how you want them to in these key areas, could be provoking or influencing your feelings around this, and how to get on track. So usually our careers define a significant part of who we are. The roles we take, the skills we develop, and the accomplishments we achieve. They shape our professional identity. I want to caveat that with we should not allow our profession or our career to define who we are. It should be an extension of what we do for a living and maybe contribute or highlight our strengths and our abilities, but it should not define our identity and who we are. Because careers can change. Jobs are jobs. You could lose your job tomorrow, but that doesn't change who you are. However, success and struggles in this area can greatly impact your self-esteem and your sense of purpose. A clear path provides structure and goals to strive for. Without direction in your career and with your job, it's not unlikely to feel adrift, unfulfilled, anxious about the future and where you are. And it can be challenging to stay motivated. Family and friends. So this is another area that if you have some uncertainty around, it can cause the feeling of not having direction or focus or vision in. Our relationships and family and friends contribute to our emotional support system, and it influences our values, our beliefs, and our behaviors, whether we like it or not. These connections often help us understand who we are and where we come from. They're our foundation. They're the building blocks that have been set in place as we have grown and developed most of our lives. Supportive relationships can guide us through life challenges and help us stay focused on our goals. And on the other hand, toxic and strained relationships can lead to confusion, distractions, and a lack of direction. Our sense of belonging and community heavily impact our overall well-being and clarity in our purpose. So, I know you've heard the saying, we are a product of our environment, or we are often the sum of the closest people in our lives. And that's true. Our family, our friends, the people we hang with really impact and influence us. Another area that a lot of women find themselves feeling a lack of vision, direction, or focus in is when it comes to children. And this one really parallels with family and relationships too. Being a parent, especially for many women, it's a maternal instinct, a natural instinct. And it becomes a core aspect of one's identity if you are a mother. And if you're not a mother, sometimes it can also equally influence you because people are wondering, when are you going to become a mom? What are you waiting on? Or you feel your own biological clock ticking. The reality is the responsibilities, the joys, and challenges of raising children shape how we see ourselves and our role in the world. And it really influences how the world sees us as well. And that's the reality, whether it's right or wrong. Parenthood often brings out strengths and qualities we didn't even know we had. So how does this influence our direction when it comes to motherhood? It affects us because raising children requires priorities and making decisions that affect their future as well as your own. This responsibility alone can provide a strong sense of purpose and direction. However, balancing personal goals with parenting duties can lead to the feeling of being overwhelmed or lost if we neglect our own needs and aspirations on the journey. Or sometimes if you have children too early, or in times of your life where you feel like you haven't quite accomplished your goals, it can be a conflicting feeling of direction and focus. And, it's hard to admit, but some women feel like their children may hold them back or is limiting their progress. And I think it's about a change of perspective and how you see the opportunity of motherhood, right? Relationships, this is a huge one. And this is more about intimate or romantic relationships. A relationship can deeply influence your self-identity and determine who you are and how you feel about yourself. The dynamics of a partnership and shared goals and mutual interests and mutual support, or the lack thereof, significantly shape our emotional and psychological state. Our romantic relationships really have the capacity to impact us in a deep way, especially if you've arrived at a certain age or time in your life where you feel like you should have been married, or you should have been in a relationship, or you have allowed societal standards to determine or dictate when you should be doing something in your life. A healthy relationship can provide stability, support, and a shared vision of the future. Conversely, an unfulfilling or troubled relationship can lead to the feeling of stagnation, confusion, and the lack of personal direction. And the quality of our romantic relationships often affect our motivation and clarity in other areas of our lives. So picking a good partner and picking a healthy and solid relationship is so important. And oftentimes, if the relationship is not fulfilling or thriving to make you feel your best, it's often better to not even have a relationship, to be honest, and just focus on you. So we talked about several foundational areas that often influence the lack of vision and direction for a lot of people, particularly in the middle age and the middle periods of their lives. All of these shape who we are and how we show up in the world. They help shape our identity, they influence how we feel and how we feel about ourselves, and how society sees us based on societal standards, which influences how we feel about them as well, even when we try our best not to allow it to impact us. So it's not unreasonable to see that the lack of direction or vision in these areas could again promote a lack of vision or direction in our lives overall. So what do we do about this? How can we feel like we have control? How can we feel that we have a clearer vision? How can we feel like we have more direction and empower ourselves to show up and be our best? Or accept where we are and be okay with where we are and trust our journey. The advice I want to give today to anyone who may be feeling these feelings or feeling like their life is not turning out how they envisioned or how they planned it to be, or how you desired it to be, despite your efforts and despite your planning. Or maybe you failed to plan altogether and you've been winging it the whole time. Or maybe you need focus. Whatever your reason is, I hope that this piece of advice helps you. First, it's important to acknowledge that you are where you are in your life for a specific reason and that we all are on our unique journey. Yes, we understand that society has its expectations on who we should be and where we should be in certain areas of our lives. But sometimes we have to throw that in the trash because we are not robots, because we all have different callings, we have a different purpose, and our lives have different timelines. In this season, I think that we usually advance when we get the message, the lesson, or the code to elevate and grow. And what I mean by that is sometimes we repeat cycles. You know, if you think about things or think about your past, you might see patterns of behaviors or things that you continue to journey through. I think that life is almost like a game sometimes, and until you can beat the level or learn the lesson, you're not able to advance to the next level, if that makes sense. So sometimes it's important to just sit with things and maybe identify any patterns of behavior and who you allow into your life, or what you allow or what you accept or what you're doing or not doing, and use that as a wake-up call so that you can learn the lesson to elevate to the new space and place that you are headed. Or accept where you are and continue to do what you're doing. We always know what's best for ourselves. I know that sounds weird, but I believe that nobody knows what's better for you than you, okay? And the beauty of that is really learning yourself, unlearning behaviors, sometimes seeking insight and advice and unlearning things, but really sitting with ourselves and being real with ourselves and being vulnerable with ourselves and understanding that you have everything you need inside of you. Always, always. You are the solution to all of your uncertainty, and life is what you make it. Life is really what we make it. Oftentimes we think that someone should be saving us or doing more, but to be honest, it's really, most of it is really about what we're doing for ourselves and the reality that we're creating for ourselves. So embrace your individuality and live life on your terms. Throw societal standards out the window. Don't allow societal standards to pressure you or to define you. Celebrate your uniqueness and embrace what makes you unique and what makes you different from others, because that's often your superpower. Your journey is your journey. This season and phase in your life is temporary, okay? Time is fleeting. This moment right now, this moment is really all that we have. The past is the past and the future is the future. But this is a temporary moment. So whatever you're feeling right now is only temporary. I'll ask you some questions and I just really want you to think about these. Maybe use them as journal prompts. What have you learned on the journey so far? What are some key things on your life journey that you've learned that you want to take with you, that you know and you see as your foundational aspects of success that have carried you to this point. Usually, when we think retrospectively, we're able to find context clues and learning tidbits from our lives and our past that we can use to serve us in our future, that will also help guide you forward. So what's in your heart? And what are you willing to do to accomplish what's in your heart? What do you really want? Not the story you may tell people or the story that you may have told yourself. Like, really be vulnerable and sit with yourself to determine what's in your heart and what you really want out of life and what you're willing to do to accomplish it. These are just a few things I want you to sit with, journal about them. But I think that answering these questions and journeying through these thoughts will really help to light a fire and give you a little bit of focus and direction. During this season, the best thing you can do is take care of you. Take care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, and psychologically. Work out, eat well, get proper rest. Plan your fun. Life is going to happen. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, things are out of our control, and there's things that we can't control, and there's nothing we can do about that. But we do have control over a lot of things. So plan to go to a concert. Plan to hang out with someone on a regular basis. Take yourself out on a date. Take yourself on a trip, whatever it is, but you need to plan your fun and plan great things in your life. Position yourself for success. Dream and visualize what you want. Apply for that job. Change your career. Start that business. Go back to school. Pick up new hobbies. Get back to your passion. Sign up for the class that you've been thinking about. Learn the new language you've wanted to learn. Travel more. Take the trip. Book the trip. Write the book. Start your family. Whatever it is, just do it. Plan it. Take the leap and believe and trust yourself. Do the soul searching and go after whatever it is you really want out of life. And on the journey, just trust and know that what's meant to be will always be. But you have to take the steps to get the process moving. Remember, life is what you make it. Yes, there will be things on the journey that we can't avoid or things that we can't control, but we can make the best out of all the things that are dealt to us and the things that happen to us on the journey. One of the first steps to getting what you want out of life is believing in yourself and believing you deserve the life you desire. Okay, so I know there's a lot of uncertainty right now in our lives, in the world. There's just a lot happening right now. And the reality is there will always be things happening. But again, life is what you make it. So go out and live. I am a leadership and life coach. If you are looking for a coach to help guide you on the journey, I am accepting new clients right now, and I would love to help you on the journey. Here on this channel, I make videos about motherhood, conscious leadership, women empowerment, personal growth and development, and all things elevating your reality. So if you love content and videos like this, please hit that subscribe button, like, share, comment, and come back for more videos. I post videos weekly, and I would love to have you, and I know you will love it here. So thanks again for watching, and I look forward to catching you in the next video.